potential blowing dust. Overnight lows will drop to around 20. Friday, dry northwesterly flow will continue. Highs will bounce back dramatically into the upper 60s to around 70, and fire weather conditions will return with gusty southwest winds at 20 to 30 miles per hour. Overnight lows will be around 30. This meteorologist Chris Schrumick in the WKS Radio Weather Center.
If you're shopping for a banking institution, visit with Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, and Quinter, Kansas. The Equity Bank is heavily invested in local business and activities contributing in many ways back to their community. Their employees are involved with many organizations and area events. Plus, a lot of experience comes with that staff. You'll find valuable local assistance when you bank at the Equity Bank of Hoxie, Grinnell, Quinter, and other locations in Western Kansas. The Equity Bank, member FDIC.
Need a porta potty or septic pumping in Northwest Kansas? Call Topside Portables and Pumping, your local family-owned crew. They've got clean, reliable toilets for weddings, farms, and job sites, plus full septic services, RV waste, fertilizer tanks, and more. Available 24/7, because when nature calls, they answer. Call 785-728-8089. That's 728-8089. Topside Portables and Pumping. Reliable, local, clean.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
The holiday season just got brighter at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland. Wrap up the year with 0% for 36 months on all 2026 Chevrolet Trailblazer and Equinox models. Or slide into a new GMC, 1.9% for 36 months on a 26 Arcadia, plus up to $7,000 in rebates on a 26 GMC Sierra 1500 Elevation with Turbo Max with eligible trade-in. Big savings, big style, and big holiday cheer. Only at Hurl Chevrolet GMC in Goodland, Kansas. Stop in today or visit online at hurlchev.com.
This holiday season, jolly old St. Nick and his helpful elves at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware are stocked up and ready to make Christmas merry and bright. From festive decor and handy tools to gift cards and great stocking stuffers, they've got something for everyone. Go bigger with Traeger or Weber grills or even Blackstone griddles, Yeti coolers, or powerful Ego snowblowers that make winter easy. Make holiday shopping simple. Shop local at Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware in Goodland and Colby.
Are pests making your home or business uncomfortable? Call Pestaway in Goodland, Kansas, serving all of Northwest Kansas. They provide top-notch pest control services to keep your space safe and pest-free. From ants to rodents, termites to spiders, our expert team is here to help with effective, safe, and affordable pest control solutions. Don't wait. Call Pestaway today at 785-728-7166 for fast, reliable service. Your home or business deserves the best protection.
You ready? Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4!
It's time for the Morning Blitz with Ross Volkmer.
The amount of money getting thrown around to quarterbacks who haven't done diddly squat is amazing to me.
And Connor Schuh.
He's the new guy.
The High Plains only local sports talk show, broadcasting live on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and video streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
Who's got it better than us? Nobody!
Covering it all from the preps.
He's at the 10, the 5, he dives for the end zone, he's in! Touchdown, Cowboys!
To the pros.
Line drive, left field, base hit. Here comes McMahon. He'll score. Ball game.
The Blitz is presented by Hurl Chevrolet GMC, Hoover Lumber Ace Hardware, and F&B Bank. Along with
Equity Bank of Hoxie, Quinter, and Grinnell, the Insurance Agency, Pestaway LLC, Topside Portables and Pumping, and the Farmer State Bank in Oakley.
Let's go to work.
The screen, Castillo splits two. There's the lob and the flush. Perfectly done by the Cats. And the flush gives Kamari 10, and the Cats lead 77-70.
Ball right side. Saucedo again. He's got 3 long ones today. And the Cowboys back on top, 41-39.
Backing down, he's cut off and has to kick back to Melvin. Steps into a 3. Did it once more. Wow. 9 threes falling for Council.
Mahomes in the pocket will step up. He'll scramble 10. 5 Mahomes. Diving touchdown.
Kansas City. It's Mahomes' 19th career touchdown run.
Bo takes a snap, four-man pressure. Bo climbs the pocket, throws the ball to the end zone. Touchdown, Denver. Troy Franklin.
Sounds of the weekend. Good Monday morning, everybody. Glad you're with us here on this December the 15th. It is the Morning Blitz on Goodland's Rocket 102.5 and NBKSradio.net, as well as the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Thank you so much for being a part of this Monday morning, a pleasant morning. Partly or sunny skies, 38, going to be highs in the upper 50s today. Another nice day on tap. I did something yesterday. I don't know if, I guess I wasn't planning on it, but it was kind of funny. So yesterday, my family and I got invited to go to this thing out in Denver, Connor. And so we were there, and there's swimming pools everywhere. So we were swimming indoors, but we were also swimming outdoors in Denver, Colorado.
Is that warm?
On December 15th. Depending on which pool you were in, I guess is the way to put it. But there were a lot of people there like out like sunbathing at like 60-degree temperatures. I was like, something you don't see all the time. You don't see a lot of people in Denver, Colorado in swimsuits out trying to get some sun ray. It was 60 and it was nice, especially if the sun was hitting you. But yeah, I was out in some water yesterday in the pools. I was just like, man, you don't expect to see this in 60-degree temps, especially in December.
Yeah.
But no. Anyway, glad to be back with you here on the Morning Blitz. Connor, how was the rest of your weekend? It was a busy weekend, of course, with the topside tip-off. How did you spend your Sunday? Hopefully it was parallel to the floor on the couch or in the recliner.
For the most part, did a little bit of work, a little bit of housekeeping as well. Came out and got those speakers that were hanging out in Goodland too. So did a little bit of work stuff, but for the most part, it was sitting. Thank you.
Nothing wrong with that. Get yourself recuperated for another busy week ahead here before the holidays. Yeah, we're how many days till Christmas here? About 10, 11 days till Christmas. So,
days.
Oh yeah, we are 10 days. Do the math, Ross, dummy. 15. Yeah. So yeah, 10 days till Christmas. And it'll be we'll have shows. At least I'll be here having shows all the way up until Christmas Day. I think we'll have one through the 24th as the schedule at this point in time. But we got a full show ahead for you today. We will have once again Nick Athen of Chiefs Blitz. Lots to get into him with the Chiefs losing not only their playoff contention hopes, but Patrick Mahomes possibly for not only the rest of this season, obviously, but for a majority of next season too. We'll get to all that. Lots of other things to get to in today's program. So unless Connor has any gripes, let's just get things rolling here on a Monday morning with our weekend winners and losers.
There are two kinds of people in this world.
There's winners and there's losers.
Which ones were which this past weekend?
I want winners.
Loser. You're a loser.
It's the weekend's winners and losers on the Morning Blitz.
You want to be a winner, be a winner.
Weekend winners from this past weekend. Connor Schuh, where do you want to start? The many faces of Connor Schuh. For those who can't see him, it's the mustache today.
Yes, we've switched it up a little bit, and my chin feels cold outside. I'll be honest. You wouldn't expect it, but it
gets used to that protection, and then all of a sudden, it's no longer there.
I know it's weird, but you know who's probably feeling pretty good? Bo Nix. After the Broncos got, I'd say, a signature win over the Packers. They're my first winner, and they improve now to 12-2 and really have a death grip on the AFC West at this point. The Chargers are kind of keeping pace, but they're still a couple games back. Bo threw 4 touchdowns on the Packers in a game that I think probably gave all Broncos fans some pause about any questions about their offense. They did it against a good team, a good defense in the Packers, and they hung 34 points on him. And Bo, I didn't get to watch the game too much. I saw some stuff on Red Zone, but Bo, from what I saw, was probably the best he's looked this season, at least statistically. So got to tip your cap to the Broncos and company for that win.
Bo Nix, 23 of 34, 302 yards, 4 touchdowns, a QBR of 88 or pass rating of 134.7. He was really good. He also had 10 yards rushing in the game. He threw 100 of those 302, 113 went to Cortland Sutton, Troy Franklin, Little Jordan Humphrey, and Michael Bandy, all with the touchdowns receiving for the Denver Broncos in their 34-26 win over the Green Bay Packers. Bo Nix, no doubt, definitely a winner of the weekend. I guess the last couple of games, and especially this one statistically, and maybe the previous few And I'm sure listener Michael and others that are humongous Broncos fans that don't miss a single beat of any game throughout the season. But I would say that Bo Nix over the last handful of games has started to kind of come into his own a little bit. He's feeling a little bit more comfortable. I feel like he can handle a little bit more, and he's doing a little bit more because of that. Whether that be running, I think it was against the Raiders. He had to run a little bit more. It might have been the game before that. I'm trying to recollect in my mind. But he had to run a little bit more and really helped him in the running game and using his athleticism. He did that. In this game, he was needed in the passing game because the running game wasn't, Green Bay was not allowing them to run a whole lot. And so, yes, it's kind of going that way. As Michael says, F&B Bank text line 785-899-2222. He says the offense is starting to flow a little bit. Here's the thing. Yeah. Sean Payton said in the offseason, leading into it, OTAs, he said, I think we have a Super Bowl contending team if certain things kind of come to fruition. If certain things happen, we have a Super Bowl caliber type of team. But things have to come together. And I know one of those things in his mind was we have a young quarterback that needs to develop and come into his own. And he said, if he does that, and him being Bo Nix, then we will be dangerous. Guess what? He's coming into his own as Bo Nix. He's coming into his own, and because of that, they're dangerous. They're becoming very, very dangerous here down the stretch. I think that's my biggest takeaway is that Sean Payton predicted this. At the beginning of the year, he said, "Boy, we got a lot of nice pieces, got a nice team, I've won a Super Bowl before, and this is what these teams look like. But we got to have some things come together, and Bo Nix is one of those things, and we've seen it."
Agreed.
So great showing from Bo Nix. I would agree, a huge winner of the weekend. My winner of the weekend, I'm going regional college basketball teams. What a weekend it was in college hoops for regional fans. You didn't have a bad weekend. Really, no matter, well, to an extent, depends on who your fandom is. But if you're one of the regional fans, you had a good weekend. First of all, K-State wins at Creighton, 83-76. Really without having PJ Haggerty have much of a game. He had 10 points. He was 4-12. He didn't shoot it well. But, Kamari McGriff stepped up big. Had some other good performances there for K-State in that win at Creighton. It's a nice win for Kansas State on the road in a tough place to win, and they win. They had a 20-point lead at one point in time. They did kind of let that go away, but they pull away in the end to win 83-76. Kansas with a really nice win on the road in overtime over NC State, 77-76. Darren Peterson did play 36 of those minutes, but he did kind of get pulled late. Apparently, he was dealing with a little bit of some hamstring tightness, which honestly is scary because if you're a Kansas fan, we can't go without him. But maybe you can if Melvin Council Jr. could go out and play like he did. 36 points, 9 3-pointers. He was unbelievable. Was Melvin Council Jr. in that game there for Kansas? He was unbelievable, unconscious. Goes out there and Kansas gets a humongous win at NC State in overtime. That was really big. How about the Fort Hays Tech Northwest men's basketball team on Saturday? So Wednesday, we talked about how they had a huge upset win over a top 25 ranked Barton team, kind of coming from behind to get the win. How about on Saturday? They are on the road in Ark City taking on 16th ranked Cali County, and they shut down the Tigers. 57 points is all Cali scores, and Fort Hays Tech Northwest runs away from the Tigers, 70-57, back-to-back road win, or back-to-back wins, over ranked foes for a friend of the program, Bradshaw, and the Fort Hays Tech Northwest men.
Watch out for those Tech Tigers, man. Come on.
7-5 overall heading into the holiday break. Now they're off until back in January. But, man, what a performance there from Fort Hays Tech Northwest. That was some impressive stuff this week. Back-to-back wins over a ranked, once again, Barton program and a ranked Cali team. And to win at Cali, I'll have to go back to the records. That's probably only the first or second time that they've ever won in Cali in the program's history. So
that's incredible.
Really nice wins for Bradshaw's crew down there at Cali and Ark City. So, and can't forget about the win of the weekend. Nebraska upsets Illinois on the road in a blizzard outside State Farm Arena, 83-80. Of Jamarcus Lawrence with a 3-pointer at the buzzer. The voice of Nebraska basketball, Kent Pavelka, everybody.
5 seconds to go. Sam drives the ball, kicks it, It is Lawrence, puts it up. God! 2 seconds to go. Inbounds play. I'm going to pass out. The game is over. Nebraska wins it. Nebraska wins it. Nebraska wins it.
Wow.
I'm going to pass out.
That's a call. That is certainly a call.
Oh, what a win for Nebraska basketball. Best start ever. 11-0. And look out, Nebraska. I saw in CBSSports.com's predicting rankings for the top 25 this week. Nebraska could be leaping Kansas. Take a picture, everybody. You don't see it every day. It's just Nebraska ahead of Kansas in the men's college basketball rankings.
You want to know where they are in the net right now?
12th.
Yes.
Boom.
There you go.
Really good. Nebraska looking very, very good in men's basketball. Great chance to get to 13-0. They've got 2 games against North Dakota and New Hampshire, which they should win these bye games. If they lose, it's awful. And then Michigan State in early January, I think January 1st. And then 4 days later, put on your calendar. It's the Blitz Bowl, Ohio State and Nebraska.
Where is it played?
I think it's up in Value City Arena. I think it is. I think it's at Ohio State.
Well, still no home court advantage.
They lost their opener in Big Ten play, and everyone's like, "Yep, that's it. We're done. We're done with this."
Well, that historically, that place, I mean, especially over the last 10 years, I did a project for my capstone on how that place doesn't get full. It's that bad. Yes.
That had to be an interesting paper.
It was tough to get people to talk about that, to say the least.
We're going to have more information on your capstone project. That'd be great. More on how that all went down for you. So anyway, a great weekend for regional college basketball teams. K-State, Nebraska, Colorado, 42nd Northwest. Oh, and Colorado beat UTSA as expected, convincingly 88-64, I think was the final score. So they're 9-1. Buffs are 9-1. Go Tad Boyle. But weekend winners, regional college basketball teams. More weekend winners here in the Blitz.
Well, that fits perfectly into my next one because I was going to talk about Melvin Kensel Jr. a little bit. So I'll just add on here for a second. So 36 was his career high, and this is his first year with Kansas, and you would think maybe he gets his career high with Wagner or St. Bonaventure in his past couple of years, but no, 36 with Kansas is his career high against NC State in a game they kind of had to have in the non-conference. So got to tip your cap to him. And it's funny, I got back from the topside tip-off right at the end of the game, and I turned it on, and I see he's at the free throw line, and he bricked both tries. And I thought Kansas was about to lose, but NC State got an awful look at the end and ended up losing the game thanks to some good defense, I think, from Council. But just an incredible game from him. You got to tip your cap. But since we already kind of talked about him, I'll move on to my final one. I think Colby boys basketball deserves a shout out. They got probably the toughest draw of the entire tournament, boys and girls basketball, of the topside tip-off, playing life prep on both sides. And unfortunately, the girls team didn't fare as well. But again, the boys, we talked about it a little bit on Friday. They hung with life prep, 9-point game. It was close down the stretch, and they kind of pulled away towards the end. But Colby really showed it off in the next 2 games. They beat Ray by 4 in a game that Coach Reed Stevens said they could have played better in. And then they really flexed against Norton. They beat him by 22. And I think they really looked like a super complete basketball team. I enjoyed how they shot the ball. They've got a ton of dudes who can shoot the 3. And when you have that, I think it's a little easier to have success when you have so many guys around the perimeter that can knock it down. A bunch of scorers. They have strength down low. I think Colby boys basketball can do some stuff this year. I really think so. And shout out to the girls too. They won their last game against Norton as well.
Yeah, great win. Really great showing. I would love to get your opinion on that game against, once again, that game after watching life prep play against McCook and win convincingly. It was like 77-55 or something like that. I mean, it was pretty convincing. It might have been 77-60 or something. It was pretty convincing. And, Colby played him the closest of anybody. Do you feel like life prep was completely locked in that entire game? Do you feel like that they were right there the whole time, or what was your gut feeling on that?
I will say maybe they weren't totally locked in.
I could see that team being like, we're here. We had a long bus trip and we're a lot older and bigger than these guys. And we'll just show up and play. And then you're kind of like, oh, man, we actually got to have to play against these guys.
The first half, it seemed like they were a little tapped out. They were still up, but they're like, I think in the second half, you could tell they're like, okay, we gotta dial it in. But even with that, Colby was still right there the whole way. And it was like I think a 6-point game with a few minutes left. And so Colby was still hanging right there, even when Life Prep was, I mean, you can have the debate whether they were like trying, I guess you could say, but they looked a little sloppier in the first half. They dialed it into the second half, but Colby took advantage of everything. And even when Life Prep was playing their hardest, you could say they were still there. So I was still convinced. It was a good game.
It's a great showing for that program and a first-year head coach and Reed Stevens. So congratulations to them on a good showing there. FB Bank text line lighting up here. Jared wants to know about Connor's thoughts on Michigan basketball. Another triple-digit win over Maryland this time.
I mean, they're pretty good. I'm not really phased at this point. I mean, they are probably the best team in college basketball. They beat up everybody they play. And that was after I think Maryland was leading at the half, or at least it was like a 1-point game. It was super close. And then Michigan just flipped a switch in the second half and rolled them. It was crazy.
Michigan is unbelievable. Michael, listener Michael, our area Broncos fan, says winners of the weekend: Riley Moss and Pat Surtain II with picks, especially after that horrible pass interference call on Moss. So
he gets a lot of PIs.
Yeah, everybody hates Riley Moss. Everybody hates him.
He's not bad.
Every Broncos fan hates him. I just sit there and say he's the only white defensive back in the league. Can we get some guys some props here? I mean, come on now. And by defensive back, I mean cornerback. The only white cornerback in the league. Let's give him some love. All right. One more winner for me. I'm going to give a shout out to Colby Eagle Wrestling. A second place finish at their own Eagle Invitational on Saturday for the boys. The girls with a great showing on Friday at their own Lady Eagle Invitational. They had a youth thing on Sunday. Man, it was a full weekend of wrestling over there in Colby. Head coach and a friend of the program, Cole Garcia, had a great post on Facebook about how, think about all the wrestlers and volunteers it takes to do all that. It was great. Great weekend of wrestling in Colby. And once again, Colby invites some really good programs to come, particularly to the Lady Eagle Invitational. There's some good programs. And for them to finish in the top just shows you how good their program is at wrestling. It's very, very good. I mean, the boys finished second only to Pine Creek, Colorado, which is kind of a powerhouse in Colorado. So great showing from them against a tough field in the Eagle Invitational. So Colby Eagle Wrestling, winners of the weekend for me. Really good showing for them. Any more winners?
Losers.
Nope. Line for losers. All right. Losers of the weekend. What do you got?
I think we'll start with the Chiefs. Oof. Well, Mahomes goes down. It looks like, I think it was an ACL. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, it looks like it's ACL. Yeah.
And they lost again. Their playoff hopes are officially down to 0. They have no chance to make it now. They're 6-8, and this is when they really got to take a look in the mirror and see where their future is going, because all their stars are aging at this point, except for Rice. But Kelsey's getting up there. Mahomes is hurt, and he's in his 30s at this point. So it's a bit of maybe a watershed moment. They have to really think about where they're going in the future with Andy Reid and see if maybe not changes with him, but changes elsewhere need to be made, because I think this is maybe not the end of a dynasty, because we saw the Pats, stumble a little bit towards the middle, and then they had a second act in the 2010s where they were just dominant. So you can maybe see a little bit of that with the Chiefs. Maybe they have their year where they start their version of the Patriots version of Matt Castle, and they have a backup start the whole year, miss the playoffs, and they come back with Mahomes. And that depends on the severity of the injury. I'm just totally throwing stuff around here, but the Chiefs, it's not looking good right now.
No, it's not. It's not a good spot at all for Kansas City. I said most of last week. I said I predicted I think the Chargers to cover this game no matter what, and because we were laughing about the Chiefs being 5.5-point favorites, and I said I just think the Chargers there was something about that loss they had a couple weeks ago where they just couldn't make the plays. Mahomes is giving his all to get the ball down the field, and he's hitting wide receivers in the hands, and they're dropping it, and it stuck with me. And Mahomes, once again yesterday, running up the middle, running for 12 yards, a touchdown, give them the early lead. And then, they had what, a 13-3 lead, I think at half or right before half. And
I think so.
They get, and give it to Herbert, go out there and lead him on a touchdown drive, get some points right before half and make it a little bit closer. But, and then you got a guy who's just doing anything and everything he could to help his team win in Patrick Mahomes. And it just finally caught up to him where he gets hurt, trying to do a little bit too much. And yeah, I've got a lot of questions for Nick Athen coming up here in about 5 minutes or so about Patrick Mahomes, about the Chiefs, things of that sort, because that injury made me feel like as if this was the end of the run of the dynasty for the Chiefs. I think we see, over the, it doesn't matter who you want to go to. You can talk about the Cowboys, you can talk about the Patriots, you can talk about the Chiefs. These were all about a good 8 to 10 years, and then things fell off. And there was a great point put on by I was watching some NFL primetime last night with Boomer, Chris Berman, and he made the point. The Chiefs look like a team that have played 154 games over the last 10 years with all the playoffs and all the Super Bowls and all the regular season. They look like a tired football team, an older, worn down, tired football team. And that's what it looks like. And so we'll get to more of that. I'll just quickly piggyback with one of my losers was the ACLs of NFL stars, because both Patrick Mahomes and Micah Parsons, by the way, done for the season with ACL tears yesterday in that Week 15 action. So loser of the weekend. My big loser of the weekend, and I'm going to probably get some bad shade on this one, but Nebraska volleyball is a loser of the weekend. I honestly can't believe I'm saying this, but Nebraska volleyball loser of the weekend. Lost in 5 sets to Texas A&M on their home floor in the Elite Eight yesterday. If you didn't watch it, it was a nuts match. I mean, Texas A&M came out and rolled in the first 2 sets. This is a Nebraska volleyball team, mind you, that had lost 10 sets. They lost 10 sets all season, people. 10 sets. That includes the 2 sets they lost to A&M in that one. Sorry, might take that back. That includes the 3 sets because they lost. So all season long, Nebraska lost 10 sets. 10. That's all they lost. The entire 34 games this year, matches, they lost 10 sets. They lose at home. And that 4th set was nuts. It was 37-35. That was the final of the 4th set. And then Nebraska loses 15-13 in set number 5. And Texas A&M goes to their first ever Final Four. But it's the first loss at the Bob Devaney Sports Center in 63 matches for Nebraska. They have not lost at home. They don't lose at home very much. They're very, very good at home. And they get beat by Texas A&M. This is my probably freezing cold take, and I'm Steve and Binkelman will probably chime in here, and that's fine, Steve. I appreciate your thoughts. But I think it might be the most disappointing season in Husker sports history.
Really?
And that sounds awful. You were 33-1. You lost 10 sets on the season. I think it's the most disappointing season in Husker sports history. That when you go out and you wax the Big Ten and everybody else in your path all season long, to only come down to not play for a national championship, to not win a national championship, to not play in the Final Four, to lose in the Elite Eight on your home floor in front of your fans, the best fans in the country. That's disappointment right there. I think I am talking not in volleyball, I'm talking in all of it. And there's been some very bad seasons. But I think when the expectation was half of the season, this team is a national championship team. If they don't win a national championship, it's going to be a bust. And guess what? They didn't even make the Final Four. Didn't even make the national championship match. They lost the Elite Eight at home to Texas A&M in front of the fans. I think it's the most disappointing season in Husker sports history. And I'm going to get lit alive for this, and that's perfectly fine. Steve goes, definitely the most disappointing ending. Thank you, Steve. I appreciate you listening, but I wanted to get Stephen Binkelman because he's our resident Husker fan with me on here. But I just think it's the most disappointing season ever. Now, I did learn post-match that Nebraska was, you talk about bad luck. Their backup middle got hurt in warm-ups. She landed on a volleyball and hurt herself. The backup middle did. On top of that, multiple girls were playing with the flu. So the flu bug hit the locker room at the absolute horrific worst time. And I think it also impacted one of the best middles in the country, Andy Jackson, who did not play. She played one of her worst matches of her career. But you talk about, like I said, I think it was the most disappointing season in Husker sports history, considering what we saw throughout the entire season to what the final outcome was. It should have been a national championship, and it's not that. And I think it's the most disappointing season. So Nebraska volleyball loser the weekend.
Fair enough. I'll get through one quickly because it's getting late here. But Marquette basketball, they're 5-6 after just getting annihilated by Purdue. And yeah, they're one of those teams that isn't really adjusting to the transfer portal era. They haven't got a transfer in, I think it's 3 or 4 years since they got Tyler Kolek a few years ago, who was really good for them.
Wow,
Yes.
I didn't know that.
No transfers since then. Shaka Smart isn't adjusting, and it's hurting them pretty badly. I mean, people know them as a power of the Big East for the past few years, and with Shaka, they've been awesome. But this year, definitely not. A couple of their losses. They lost to Dayton in overtime. They lost to Maryland. They lost to Indiana by nearly 30 points. They lost to a not great Oklahoma team. They got beat up by Wisconsin, who's really not that great. They needed overtime to beat Valparaiso. I could go on. It's not a good start for them.
All right. I did not know that about Marquette basketball. Thank you for that. I did see them get beat by Purdue, but I just thought they were in the crosshairs. Purdue lost to Iowa State last. The next team up at Mackey was going to get murdered. So whoever it was.
They're just bad.
They're just bad.
Simple.
All right. Listener Jared Epibank text line Red Nation, more like Red Wedding, Game of Thrones. Thanks, Jared. Okay, there you go. Weekend winners and losers on this Monday. We'll take a break. Nick Athen joins us next from ChiefsBlitz.com. It's been Blitz.
At F&B Bank, we believe local businesses are the heart of our community. That's why we're more than just your bank. We're your neighbor, your customer, and your biggest supporter. From the corner cafe to the hardware store downtown, we're walking the same streets, shopping the same shops, and investing in the same future, yours. We're here, we're local, and we're always in your corner. F&B Bank, banking built on community, member FDIC.
Looking for insurance that actually puts you first? At the insurance agency in downtown Goodland, we're independent, which means we work for you. Whether it's auto, home, crop, or business, we shop top carriers to get you the best coverage at the best price. No pushy sales, just honest advice from people who live right here in your community. Give us a call today at 785-899-5011 or stop by 1020 Main in Goodland, and let's get you covered. The Insurance Agency. Insurance the way it should be.
It's time for a check of the markets with the Anderson Trade Group on the Kansas Farm and Ranch Radio Network.
Good morning. This is Tom Saluda with the Anderson Trade Group with your overnight market report on December the 15th. In the overnight session, March corn was unchanged at $4.40, July corn unchanged at $4.54 1/4, and Sep corn unchanged at $4.49. January soybeans is unchanged at $10.77 1/4, March unchanged at $10.86, and May unchanged at $10.97. Kansas City hard red winter wheat March was down 3.5 at $5.14. May is down 3.5 at $5.26 1/2, and July is down 4 at $5.39. The Dow Jones is currently at 240 points at 49,100. S&P is up 36 points at 6,866. NASDAQ is up 170 points at 25,639. Gold is up 36 points at 4,364. And crude oil is slightly down at 57.15 a barrel. If you're out in the Colorado area and have any grain to market or risk management questions, please call John Hanke or John Stiles at 970-744-4484. Or you can call the Overland Park office, myself, Tom Saludo, Jared Law, or Tyler Ghosh at 913-748-3000. Thank you.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
LivestockMarket.com offers all the tools you need for a successful production sale. The easy-to-use online platform makes it super easy to take bids from anywhere in the world. Buyers can place pre-bids and real-time bids, browse your sales catalog, and watch your sale broadcast live. LivestockMarket.com is also the ideal platform for private treaty sales and timed online-only auctions. There's no easier way to find buyers for cattle, horses, sheep, and hay. Sell on your terms today with LivestockMarket.com.
From the headlines to the highlights.
It's good. The Wildcats are champions of the Big 12.
This is the Morning.
Back on a Monday morning. Glad you're with us this December the 15th. 38 degrees, sunny today, and a temperature high going to be of 58 degrees. Let's don't waste any time. Nick Athen, our friend from Chiefs Blitz, joins us on the Hurl Chevrolet GMC video stream. Good morning, Nick. You look a little disheveled this morning. Oh, got the Jayhawk sweatshirt on. Looks nice.
Yeah, you know, I guess I got a little too much sunlight in my office after the doom and gloom from yesterday. Yeah, you know.
Do you watch games in your office there? Do you have a big TV set up in your office?
No, it's kind of little there, so it's not that big.
But you watch games right there? Is where you watch them all from?
Yeah, sometimes. You know, it depends when, you know, if the kid rules the big screen or not, you know.
That is so true. The kids own the big TV, so
he's into Minecraft right now, and his best friend, you know, lives like a mile from here, and they do this joint session, and it's relatively entertaining at times, but yesterday I wasn't having it.
Understandably so. Nick Athen, our friend from ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick, yesterday it was not only a sad day with the loss, of course, ending the postseason hopes for Kansas City, but Patrick Mahomes suffering a season-ending knee injury, and I think we all knew that this season was done. I'm not going to say that was a shocker, but
no.
How is this? I don't mean to be all doom and gloom. Maybe it's just the day after.
Okay, do it. I'm trying.
I mean, is this the? My question is this the end of the dynasty for the Chiefs? I mean, it's kind of gotten that point. You know, I was talking with Con about this. You know, Cowboys had their 8 to 10 years, the Patriots had theirs, and the Chiefs have had theirs, and it just kind of feels like this the end with Mahomes with this injury. It feels like it's kind of coming to an end.
You know, it had to end sometime. This is not the way I wanted it to end. And maybe it ended when the Chiefs lost to the Eagles in the Super Bowl, and we were in denial. Because honestly, I think that's what they just never recovered from that. The offseason, I thought, went very well. I said this is the most talent the Chiefs have had under Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. Every position in depth. But the problem was the coaching staff coached them the same way that they always have, and they just didn't make any adjustments. They didn't do anything different. They coached by ego. You know, they didn't have a top flight running back. They had opportunities to get running backs in free agency. They touted Brashard Smith was a 5th round pick or a 4th round pick, and they barely used the kid. They signed Dameon Pierce. He hasn't set foot on the field. So when you look at the overall, all the mistakes that I think the coaching staff has made, they relied on number 15 to bail him out. And he's carried this franchise for 7 years. And it's in a remarkable run. I mean, my wall dictates that the history of the Chiefs is still a solid one. And I think Chiefs fans are going to be upset. They're going to blame Andy Reid. And I'm going to lay a lot of blame on Andy Reid. But we're not the Cleveland Browns. We're not the Buffalo Bills who've never won a Super Bowl. You know, we're not we're not the Las Vegas Raiders. We're not the Arizona Cardinals. You know, we're not the New York Jets or the Carolina Panthers. We're not. You know, we have 4 Super Bowl rings, 5 Super Bowl rings, whatever it is. It doesn't matter. We have it. We've earned it. We have a special place in the history of professional football, and this sucks. But I'm hoping, my prayers, if they're answered, this is the best thing that could happen to this organization if they're willing to just say, you know what? It's time to regroup. It's time to start over. It's time to trim the roster. It's time to get some fresh coaches in. And they're going to have anywhere between the 10th and the 14th pick in the NFL draft. And that means they could get a top offensive tackle, they could get the best wide receiver, and they can get the best tight end, are all going to be on the board when the Chiefs pick.
So, Nick, when you look at this offseason, if you were the GM and you had bearing over everything that happens, what is the number one thing you would like to see change?
I think the number one thing needs to change is that the organization can't allow Patrick Mahomes to cover their mistakes. So I think this is what has to happen right away. Travis Kelce, I need an immediate answer. And if you're going to come back, we're going to pay you $5 million, and that's the top dollar. That's the top thing. I think it would be good for him to come back. Number two, I think they trade Chris Jones. I think they trade Trent McDuffie. They get draft picks. There's no great pass rusher in this draft that I can see so far. And I haven't done enough research because I usually am not looking at the draft until January, February, or March, early March. But I'm forced to do it now. I think you gut your offensive staff. If Andy Reid's going to be the person who's going to lead them to the next generation or the next chapter, he has to get younger coaches. Matt Nagy needs to go. Dave Taub on special teams. Steve Spagnuolo, maybe bring Antonio Pearson to run the defense. They're going to have to be some gut changes. The entire offensive staff sucks. And if Reid is going to be the guy that's going to carry the next generation or the next iteration of the Chiefs, he's 67. He's got a contract for 3 more seasons at $20 million a year. So you got to shuck the money. You got to shuck the pride. You got to shuck the ego. And you got to say, okay, this is what we have to do. And it starts with Andy realizing all his mistakes. And Andy has to answer the question internally. Do I have it in me to rebuild this team again? And I'm not 100% certain that he does. If he brings in guys who aren't yes men, I think they're going to be okay. Patrick Mahomes, despite the ACL, I will bet my entire house and all my collectibles he will be the opening day starter in 2026. He will be. Wow. He'll find a way. So with that said, if he's willing to make that sacrifice in the offseason, the organization from top to bottom, I'm talking Clark Hunt, Mark Donovan, Brett Veach, Andy Reid, have got to say, you know what? This kid gave us 7 incredible years. We made a ton of money, a lot of money. We won Super Bowls. We're considered one of the best modern-day dynasties in all of professional sports. And this kid sacrificed everything, and now an ACL. We better change the way we do business around here, because now it's time to reward Patrick Mahomes, and not about money, building a coaching staff, putting a better roster together, and no more excuses and no more fitting square pegs and round holes.
Woo. How much of this was, when it's just like anything else, you have a young Mahomes who shines early and he's on that rookie deal, and then you have to pay him the money that he is due, and you do. And I feel like the Chiefs did a great job moving money around as long as they can, but I feel like it's finally kind of caught up to them where we can't put the roster around Patrick Mahomes that we need in order for him to have the type of success. So he has to be leaned upon so much that he does, unfortunately, crumble as he did yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, he's got a $74 million cap hit. Chris Jones has a $44 million cap hit. They're minus, I don't know, $36 million or something like that under the cap. Now, these are things that are solvable and they can fix. But listen, I mean, the plan was after 2025 that they were going to have to restructure Patrick's contract regardless. They can't move any more money the way they want to converted bonuses. I don't think Patrick will go for it. I think Patrick's going to want to see some gut check and a real plan going forward. This is the time where he needs to become Tom Brady. He needs to go to the front office. He needs to go to the coaching staff and say, listen, guys, you got to listen to me. We need to start making some changes right here. We can't keep doing the same old. So I think for the salary cap, they can get rid of Jawan Taylor and they can get rid of Mike Dana and Drew Tranquil, all things I think they should do. But they still got to replace them. And, how aggressive are they going to be in free agency? If they have the 10th, 11th, 12th pick in the draft, who knows? I mean, Trent McDuffie, he's gone. He's going to be traded. It's happening. If they can get a first and a third for him, I think they'd gladly take it. And if they can get maybe 3 number 2s for Chris Jones and someone's willing to eat that contract, I make that move too. So the sentimentality and all that stuff has got to change completely. And now it's got to be down to what's best for the business brand, for the Chiefs to be Super Bowl winners again. And I hope that's what they do. But Patrick holds the key. You know, they've been in contract talks. Now he's got the injury. So he can afford to say, you know what? Maybe we need to do this a little different. And I hope he wields his power because he has been taken advantage of by this organization for 7 seasons, in my opinion.
Nick Anthony, to be our guest here on the Morning Blitz from ChiefsBlitz.com. I want to change gears and talk Broncos. Are the Broncos the next dynasty coming up here in the NFL, or are they behind the Patriots at this point in time? If you had to predict the next dynasty in the NFL, who do you think it is?
I'm not ready with Bo Nix to say he's the birth of the next dynasty in the AFC or in the NFL. I'm not sure I'm going to do it with Drake May either. Listen, I think they're very similar. I think they have 2 great head coaches. They have a quality team. They've got athletes everywhere. They have the right mindset. They play the right schedule. You know, they beat up on bad teams and the ball bounced their direction all season long. I was shocked that the Patriots lost to the Bills yesterday. Let's be honest. So I'm officially a Bills fan for the remainder of the season. I want them to get their Super Bowl. I want Bills Nation and Bills Mafia to experience it. I think this is the best chance Josh Allen has. But as your dynasty question goes, I still think the Chiefs are the best position to maintain their dynasty in the AFC.
I actually have a quick question here from a texter on our FB Bank. When he wants to know, explain to me the case for Andy Reid being the guy to take the Chiefs into the next era, because frankly, I don't see it.
I can't make a good one. I think he's too stubborn. I don't think he's put into the season with the same vigor as we've seen. We don't know if he's got health issues or he's just tired. And ultimately, Tammy Reid, his wife's going to say, Andy, time to go. And that's going to be the ultimate decision. The Chiefs aren't going to force him out, but the Chiefs should force him to make a lot of changes. The good news is the season's over. He can start working on a staff if Andy's going to be the guy. But what Andy has to do and what Clark Hunt has to do, we're gonna bring in your successor. We're going to bring in the guy who's going to carry the load, whether that's somehow getting Cliff Kingsbury away from the Commanders, which I think is possible. Mike Kafka, with the Giants, I think that's possible. But they have to have a succession plan in order for this to work. If they leave it just up to Andy, I think the dynasty is over. And that's the critical question that Clark Hunt has to make. You know, when he hired Andy, he said he was going to go get his guy. They had a chance to get Mike Shanahan when Scott Pioli was here, and they botched it big time. And so then they went with this Todd Haley character, and that was a disaster. So I think when you look at the evolution of the Chiefs, when they've been in this situation, they haven't always made the best decisions. Andy's a Hall of Famer. He's an incredible coach. He has done things that no head coach in the NFL has done. He's won in both leagues. He has brought stability to an organization that was 2-14. They had a player shot in the parking lot. They had a number 1 pick when there was no clear number 1 player. I mean, he brought it all together, and somehow he made it work, and he should be rewarded for that. But to think that he's the answer going forward by himself would be a delusional approach if I was the Hunt family.
All right, Nick, we got to wrap it up here, but I wanted 30 seconds. Denver's currently sitting as the number 1 seed in the AFC, and they have earned that right to be the number 1 seed. Are they the number 1 team in the AFC?
I think they're the number 1 team just because that defense is so sick. Bo Nix played great yesterday. I mean, that was probably his most impressive game of his young career. And if he can play like that against the Packers, here's the key for the Broncos real quick. They have to get the number 1 seed. I don't think Bo Nix can win 3 playoff games. I think it's too soon for that. I could be shocked and surprised. It doesn't mean, I'm not saying the Broncos can't do it. I think if they have the number 1 seed in 2 home games and only have to play 2 games, with that defense at home, they're going to the Super Bowl. I just said that. I can't believe I just said that. I'm just kidding. Hey, I've been honest about the Broncos all season long. I have not shied away from
You have been great.
They are. Sean Payton has completely shocked me that he could turn around this franchise the way he has, and his reliance on Bo Nix and Nick Bonito, and just saying, guys, this is what we're going to do. I mean, look at the way he called how many times did he go for it on 4th down yesterday and fail? He did it because his defense is so good that he wasn't worried about the Packers catching up.
Nick Athen, ChiefsBlitz.com. Nick, thank you, my friend. Have a great week.
All right, we'll talk to you next Monday.
Once again, great stuff there. Nick Athen from ChiefsBlitz.com, our great friend, of course, NFL. He's our own personal NFL insider, I feel like. He gives us all kinds of good information. We'll wrap up the show next. Connor's going to give us a quick look at the picks from this past weekend and a quick recap. And I got a few things I want to hit in the leftovers. So we'll wrap it up next in the Blitz.
Wiring Solutions of Northwest Kansas looks forward to working with you this year on all your network wiring, Starlink installation, and security camera needs. John Fabricius takes pride in his work and customer service. Give him a call at 785-639-1218.
Mike and the team at Cowboy Corner Express want to wish you happy holidays and invite you to stop by throughout the season for hot or cold drinks, fresh baked goods, pizza, and so much more. Drop by and see what they have this holiday season at Cowboy Corner Express in Goodland.
Taking your health to heart. That's the Logan County Health Services of Oakley with the Logan County Hospital, New Frontiers Health Clinic, Logan County Rehabilitation and Wellness Center. This time of year, they're always looking to add new nurses to their staff. That's Logan County Health Services of Oakley. I'm not bluffing. The Bluff has great fresh cut steaks. Awesome, tenderful, flavorful steaks, plus other favorites like maybe chicken fry, hamburgers, and more. They have noon and evening specials, very affordable, at The Bluff Restaurant and Bar, across from the Cell Barn in Oakley.
Quick hits, bold takes, and all the action.
I'll take that action.
Welcome back to the Morning Blitz.
All right. We're putting a bow on a show here on a Monday. It's been a fun show. Thanks to Nick Athen. There's been some more texters texting with questions. Brian wants to know, do the Chiefs pull most of the starters and bring all rookies in to show what they can prove? I don't know about, I'm assuming so. You're going to put, I think you want to show, I don't want to say you pull all the starters, but my point is you want to see what your rookies can do. They've had a whole season now to practice and stuff and play some special teams ever. You want to get them in the games. Now, you can't pull all your starters, but you want to get those guys sprinkled in with some of your starters to see what you can do if you're the Chiefs. I think you want to do that. You disagree? You think they shouldn't put them in all?
Well, I'm saying don't put in all your rookies and pull all the starters. I understand. I would agree with
He does say pull most of the starters, I guess.
I'd say, give Brashard Smith some more carries and then some of the rookies in the defense, but yeah.
This is the Nolet guy, the guy from Tennessee. He looked like he had a big game yesterday. I don't know if he's from Tennessee, Nolet or something like that. He had a big game yesterday, it looked like. Let's see here. Michael goes, Coach Payton is smiling like the butcher's dog already. Talking about the Broncos. All right. Who is smiling from this weekend of picks is the real question. It's got to be close, judging by my gut.
I think both of us are smiling at this point. There's still a game to go, but we got to rip through this with how much time we've got. Chargers and Chiefs, we both got that right. The Chargers covered. Packers, Broncos, I had the Packers covering. They did not. You had the Broncos winning.
2-0.
Kansas versus NC State pick, and we both had Kansas winning by the skin of their teeth. They did. K-State at Creighton. I thought Creighton was going to get that one. They did not. K-State won, so you got the point there.
4-0.
Nebraska at Illinois. Here's where you lose.
A loss.
I had Nebraska winning, predicting the upset. You had the Illini winning. They did not. UTSA at Colorado. I mean, you know the answer to that one.
5-1.
Kansas volleyball versus Nebraska. Nebraska's run did not end there. Nebraska won.
Nope.
We both got points. Bills and Pats. I had the Pats winning. They did not. You had the Pats covering. They also didn't do that. Bills won by 4. Lions, Rams. I had the Rams covering. They did. They won by a touchdown. You had Detroit covering. They did not.
There was a fall.
Browns, Bears. That was embarrassing. The Browns didn't come close to covering, so I didn't get that one. You said the Bears covered. They did. Colts at Seahawks. Seahawks did not cover the 13.5. The Colts did cover, so you got the point there. Colts defense showed out. Dolphins, Steelers, pending. We'll wait on tonight for that one. Army at Navy. I had Navy covering. They did not. They actually came back to win by 1, and Army did cover.
Yeah. I was feeling so good in that.
That was a good one.
That was a great game.
2 more. Arkansas at Texas Tech college basketball.
Lost that one.
17 versus 16. It was a close game. I had Arkansas winning. They did. And you had Texas Tech. They did not win, but good game nonetheless. And then finally, NBA, T-Wolves at Warriors. I had the Timberwolves covering, and they did. You had the Warriors winning. They did not. I actually watched the 4th quarter of that game. It was a fun one.
So the record right in going into Monday Night Football for this week is what?
You're 9-5. I'm 8-6. So we could tie up. Actually, wait. Let's see who we picked in this one.
I'm pretty.
We both had the Steelers covering.
Never mind. All right, got myself a winning weekend. I'll take it. Take it. Real quickly in the leftovers before we get to the walk-off, I did want to highlight a couple of some stand-up performances from our tournaments this past weekend. In basketball, Hoxie girls winning the purple and gold. Congratulations, Lady Indians. They beat Hodgman County 65-42. Wallace County boys win 64-41 over Weskin. And Shiloh girls beat Wallace County 62-39 to win this Brewster Sagebrush shootout. The Castle Rock Classic in Quinter saw Dighton girls beat Quinter 51-44, and Quinter boys beat Ellis 52-45 to win a boys championship as well. We talked about Colby girls and boys. Goodland girls finishing second place. They lost to Life Prep 60-26. Second straight year they've won back-to-back runners-up at their own tournament. And Goodland boys finished third. Great games back-to-back against McCook and Ulysses on the entertainment spectrum. Very entertaining games that Goodland lost to McCook, but bounced back to beat Ulysses. So wanted to get that real quickly before we got out of here with the walk-off. So on to the walk-off.
And back lifts his ball high and deep to right. How about a walk-off three? Thomas to the 10. Denver's going on with New England. They win it on the first play of overtime. Mahomes swings it. It's there. Hardman. Jackpot. Kansas City.
Also, quick shout out to Hoxie Wrestling. Second place finish at the Clay Center Invite on Saturday. So congratulations to the Indians wrestling team. They continue their great season. It is Fernando Mendoza, your Heisman Trophy winner. He wins apparently in a landslide. Apparently a lot of people waited to vote. I think this is what happened. They waited later and voted, and he definitely deserved after what he did in the Big Ten championship game. I thought the cool thing was, though, personally, seeing his teammates there to celebrate with him after he won it. Did you see that video?
That was pretty cool.
I mean, that's pretty darn sweet. So anyway, Fernando Mendoza. Did the right guy win?
Yeah, I'd say probably. I'm fine with giving it to Fernando. He had a great year, and I love that speech he gave, too. That was good.
It was a great speech. He was wonderful. He's been a very gracious winner, and now watch Indiana lose in the first round of the playoffs, and it's all over.
You know who wasn't a gracious loser?
Diego Pavia?
Yeah, your guy. He was talking. He was saying
I know.
Crazy stuff on
and he apologized for it. Yeah. I'm not surprised. He's got short man syndrome,
He does. And that's why I can't get behind him, man. I don't know.
I'm not getting behind who he is as a person. I'm just getting behind who he is as a football player. And this award is based upon how you play on the football field. So,
well,
I still would have voted for him personally. And apparently athletics. Anyway, Fernando Mendoza, Heisman Trophy winner. All right, we're out of here. Thanks again for listening to the Morning Blitz. We're back again tomorrow on a Tuesday. Hope you'll join us. See you then.